I'd like to call this meeting to order this morning. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please silence all your cell phones. Take a moment of silent prayer. While we're doing that, I'd like to mention tomorrow is the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Thank you. This morning I'll start our roll call off with myself. Commissioner Culberson is here. Commissioner Doug Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Mike Stephen.
Here.
Commissioner Vicki Cause.
Here.
Commissioner Mike Smith.
Here.
All present and accounted for. Public comment. We don't have anybody signed up this morning for public comment. So we'll move on to administrative business. Mr. Loftus.
Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda. I'm sorry.
Oh, administrative business.
Oh, administrative business.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're ready.
Sorry.
You're ready.
This meeting over with.
I'm trying to, you said you had
I'm getting ready to say that.
Yeah.
Mickey, I was going to say that.
I'm
good.
Commissioners, one, the Juneteenth schedule, I wanted to bring that up today too, so you could assign a new day because the Wednesday is June 19th, which is a recognized holiday.
I won't be here on Tuesday before, so if I could ask the commissioners to do that on Thursday, that would help me.
I'm good. Whatever day you guys want.
That's fine.
Thursday would be great.
So just the very next day.
Yeah.
June 20th.
Okay. We need an actual motion to do that, or just consensus from the board?
No, that's fine. Well, because it'll be approved with next week's agenda.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Just wanted to give you kind of a real quick budget update. I do have all of the budget requests from the departments submitted. I'm working with Jennifer to go through those and get them posted into the state spreadsheet, just so we kind of have an idea of where we're at with the levy. I think most of the departments are looking pretty good. Everybody was easy to work with. I just have one or two that I'm trying to reconcile. Currently, Jennifer's working on the distributions for the other taxing districts. So as soon as she's done with that, then she can focus fully on the budget. And I hope by the end of this week I will have some numbers that I can share with the board. And then we'll start scheduling meetings with the departments, and then we'll schedule with the board for our normal hearings with the departments.
Right.
I think that I'd like to invite the treasurer to come and visit with us next week or the week after that, just due to some of the comments that have been made about the possibility of the commission being involved or complicit in the theft that occurred back in 2019, and I think that we need to kind of finally get that laid to rest, if that's all right with the other commissioners.
No problem with it.
Okay.
I can
Schedule that.
I'll send an invite and see what his schedule allows for.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Mike?
No, I don't.
Any other commissioners?
I had one.
Yes.
I see next week we're going to approve to put the City of Tonganoxie's annexation back on the agenda. Have we got any updates or any new information on that?
Commissioner, I am not aware of any additional communication after last week's meeting where we discussed it. You know, they had reached out asking about meeting with two commissioners. The board last week said they did not have an interest in doing that. I think our position has been pretty clear all along. So, but since then we have not had any.
Mark, did you relay that to him?
Yes, we did.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the next week would be the 30 days.
I believe that's correct. That's what
So if we get information after the packet goes out, it's not going to give us much time to digest that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leave it on. Okay.
All right. That's all I had, Chair.
Any other commissioner have anything?
I don't.
So I wanted to bring up one thing. We're having to repair the courthouse, and it sounds like, we're not sure of anything yet, but it sounds like to fix the courthouse to just make it safe again would be about $1 million, but to restore it to historical value, make it look exactly like it does now, would be maybe $5 million. So I asked, why would we have to spend that additional $4 million? And it's because we're on the official historical registry.
I think that $1 million that won't even touch the
Fixing it
fixing
to
it
make
to
it safe again.
make it safe again.
Okay, well,
You've got to, first we have to fix the roof.
and like I said, we don't know the exact numbers yet, but my point I want to bring up with, just so we can maybe get a consensus and help our administrator have some direction, is it's my opinion that if it's $1 million to just fix the building to make it safe again, but $5 million to restore its historical appearance, we don't have $4 million to spend to make a building look
Right.
nice. So I asked if we could just get out of the historical registry. So I called the Historical Society, and they said, yes, it's possible to pull the building off the historical register. There's some formalities you have to go through, but it's my opinion that if it's a $4 million difference, we don't know the numbers yet, but once we get the numbers, if it's a huge amount just to make it historically accurate again, I don't think that's smart money
I agree.
spent.
Even this $3 million, I don't think it's smart money.
No, that's what I'm saying. Once we get the numbers, we can know better. But it's my opinion, if it costs a lot more just to make it historical, I don't think that's money well spent.
I think the other thing too is, Chairman, is I think it's going to be at least $2 million to even take a stab at it. And you folks know more about that in construction business, but I don't think $1 million is even a good number.
Right.
I think $2 million going up just to get it back to where it's safe.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then the $5 million may be up to 6 or 7 before it's all said and done. I love this building.
Hey, Mike,
Wait a second, Michael. It's got a lot of
can you
history.
speak up a little bit? I can't, or into your microphone, because I have these railroad ears,
Okay. Well, I didn't want you to hear. If we have to do that, then we can help it out, look better. Because I love this building, but $5 million is $5 million.
Yeah.
So
Are we all agreement that if it's going to be a lot more to just make it historically accurate, we don't go that route and try to get it off the
I don't know why
registry?
we'd want to be as historically accurate. I'd just be just fine with jackhammering that ledge off and putting a gutter up and calling it good.
Just make it safe again.
I mean, what would you do at your house?
That's
It just needs to
exactly
be
why
safe.
I brought this up.
Yeah.
Because if this
Yeah.
were my money,
I mean,
I would say, well, we got to make it safe.
And the roof needs to be repaired because
Well,
it
and
keeps
top
of that,
leaking.
that's maintenance.
it's still a gorgeous building.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
it's-
just come in and see, and it's great looking.
Yeah. And possibly it's not something we couldn't do later, if money loosens up later. But right now, we don't
I
have
agree.
the luxury of
No, we had a
spending an
grand-
extra
we
$2
don't,
million.
we don't have the luxury of kicking 5 bridges down the road to pay
Exactly.
for this.
That's exactly what my point is. I'd rather spend that money on bridges than.
Now, if the State Historical Society would want to give us $5 million, I'd welcome it.
Well, yeah, if that's the whole idea of being historically registered. If they pay for everything, that'd be fine. But
Okay.
if
So, Mark, does that give you some direction that we feel when you get the
Commissioners,
estimates, get to?
We're way.
Right.
We don't even have numbers for, I think, a good estimate, really. So we're a long ways away from making that decision. But when we meet with any architects for design work, we will be asking them to give us 2 options.
Right.
To meet the historical registry requirements and the other if we don't. And
That's-
that way, when we bid it, we can do an alternate bid of one or the other and see where that cost actually is. The thing to take into consideration, obviously, which you and I have had this conversation, if you stay current with the historical registry, you qualify for tax credits, which were up to 30% of the project. So if the project's within, either way is within 30%, then it makes sense to stay with the historical functions. If it goes over that amount, then we have to have a conversation that the board would have at that time. So that before any expenditure is made, it has to be approved by the board, so you all can make that determination once we have good numbers to use to make that decision.
Right. But I just want to bring it up now so that you knew to get 2 bids, one to just make it safe and one to restore it.
how long would you think it would take to get removed from the registry?
And that's the other reason.
Or how
I wanted
much
to bring
money
it up.
will it cost? You got to make a donation or something?
She didn't talk about any cost to get out, but it does take some time. So,
I just know we just need to get the roof fixed.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
yeah,
Key.
there's
First
work that
order of
has to be
business.
done, and then
Right.
there's work that wants
Be nice.
You know, there's still, when it rains, it leaks, so.
Yeah.
They're probably less than 6 months between freezing and thawing and
Right,
moisture
and that's
getting
gonna
in and
increase.
thing getting a lot worse.
More damage. Okay. That's all I had. Anybody else have any administrative business this morning? Mike, did you have anything?
I have something.
Go ahead.
Okay, and this is for the county administrator, and you can address it however you want, but I was contacted by the Sherman Township about the Fire Station 1 parking lot where we have the salt dome and they have the salt dome agreement about the maintenance on the parking lot, and there is some provisions in that agreement about maintaining the parking lot. Can we have our folks look at that parking lot and kind of evaluate what the situation is out there?
Well, Commissioner, we review it every year. It's just like all of our road projects. It's on the schedule. They'll be out there. If it needs repair, which I think they already said it's on schedule to do that, they'll be out there and take care of it. But I think the email you received was actually about the road leading up to the parking lot. I think that was where they had concerns. And again, that's just part of our normal maintenance schedule. They review all those. So later in the year, when they get around to that, it'll be taken care of.
Okay, yeah, I did see that, but I know that's I hadn't really reviewed that agreement, but that's some of that maintenance is in that agreement. Second comment is, and I credit our entire county commission with this, but KPI has actually come out now and written a support letter for adoption of SCR 1611, which is the cap on property taxes during the special session. And that's we don't always align totally, but I was very happy to see that they are seeing the fact that we can't really trust the governor's signature, we can't really trust the legislature, that this constitutional amendment would be in place by a vote of the people, and I certainly think we should urge our legislators adopt this cap, because everything I hear all the time now is about how high our property taxes are, and I give credit to our county commission sent that letter, all 5 commissioners, and we sent it months and months and months and months ago, supporting this, and kind of like we got out front on the LAVTR issue, we got out front on this issue, and I think it is having an impact. So I just wanted to bring that up and say that thank you to everybody, because I think we are making progress.
Okay. Is that all you had, Mike?
Yep.
All right. We'll move on to consent agenda now.
Here we go. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Nothing needs to be removed. We'll begin voting with myself. Aye.
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. Move on to formal board action. Consider a motion to approve a funding request from Safe Sleep in the amount of $5,000. Who wants to take this one?
Commissioners, this is on the agenda as requested last week. A couple of things I'd like to point out. We have funded them in the past, and that was, I don't remember the year. However, that was when the board had discretionary spending in your budget. And as you can recall, last year with the tight budget, we removed that discretionary spending. So if this is approved, there is no line item that this is targeted to come out of. It will. So basically, I'm telling you, it's unbudgeted. You don't have the funds. So it will have to be reprioritized from other funds.
Mr. Lawfrey, Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Yes. Go ahead.
Mr. Lawfrey, we talked last week about whether this would fit into or be eligible for the alcohol funds. Has that been determined?
So I do not believe it qualifies, and if it did qualify, there is a process that they have to go through to get that funding. There is a committee that reviews that. The committee has already distributed funds for this year. They could certainly apply next year, and that committee could review it. In my review, I do not think it would qualify.
Okay, and that would be one commissioner, my suggestion would be that's the process they should take. And I personally think that there's some really alcohol connected things to that issue.
I agree.
So that's the process I think they should take for next year.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to point out that I received a letter of support from the county attorney, just to put that out there, because I think I gave a copy or had a copy made for all of the commissioners, just so that we know that we did have letter of support from the county.
Does that mean he'd take it out of his budget?
I doubt that, seriously. Yeah,
I know.
He's on the committee that has worked on that whole program for the.
So my question would be, does Jamie have a line item or training for that in his budget through the health department?
This wouldn't be something that Jamie has in his budget to fund them the $5,000.
Well, but I mean, does he provide this type of training through the health department?
I did talk to Mr. Miller about this, and they actually do receive some money from this group for materials, I think is what he said. They provide some materials that they hand out. But no, there's nothing in his budget that would necessarily be targeted for this. They do provide these similar services.
That's what I mean. See if they provide similar services. Well, and they really need to just apply next March. Is that when it is? February to apply for the alcohol funds?
Usually they come in April, May.
Yeah, but you apply the application and process February.
Apply early in the year.
Okay.
And commissioners, as we've said before, there are so many great organizations out there that are deserving of funds. However, it's just not in our budget to fund them.
Right.
And that's the problem right there. We would like to fund all of these outside requests, but this is the year we've been warning all of the outside agencies for the last 2 or 3 years.
2 years that we
We
sent
letters out and said, we know that we funded you in the past, but please don't expect funding in the future because times are getting worse for the county budget, and it's going to get to a point where we can't support any outside agency requests.
other than what we are statutorial or contractually obligated to do.
And that's, I think,
That's
the
it.
point where we're at. So, do I hear a motion?
What was that? I mean, we denied a funding request for Safe Sleep funding request.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I'll second that for further discussion. So, like I said before, we would like to fund all these outside requests, but this is why we sent letters out 2-3 years ago saying, don't expect money in the future from us because we can see the writing on the wall. We're only going to be able to supply money to
I guess question. Was the 5,000 a match, or was that just a number they came up with? I mean, are we locked in on the 5,000? Is that what I heard last time?
I think that's what they had requested, and I think that one of the things, that was 2 years ago, but I don't believe we probably provided them with any kind of a notice not to come back
Yeah, they might not have
to
got
the
a letter.
table. I doubt that they did,
Because we didn't do it. We only did it once in the last 5
that
years.
was new. I just think that for health and welfare and all kinds of things, that's just my opinion when it comes to the infant mortality rate.
And I agree
for Leavenworth
completely.
County.
I agree too.
We've got to figure out some way as a community even of supporting.
Well, is the city supporting them?
I do not know.
Any of the cities supporting?
I am willing to put in my own money to help support this.
And that's what should happen.
That's exactly where we're at.
Or just, it's not a budgeted item. That's just it. It's just
I just didn't know if there
budget
was
time when
anything
we
within
approve a
that.
budget. We
Yeah.
really need to stick with it.
And we can't choose people's charity with their tax money of who they want to donate to and who they don't, is my point.
And maybe they've had fundraisers, but I haven't seen any fundraisers. Or we haven't been invited to any fundraisers.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I mean, if the county attorney, is willing to discretionarily fund this, he did have the 2 extra positions that we funded that were for COVID relief catch up, and that's all been caught up. So if he's willing to fund that, I think that would be one option for this.
You want to send him a letter and tell him thank you for his donation? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying if that's we aren't finding discretionary funding in the commission side, the portions of the budget that we control. So if he has the letter of support and he's willing to fund that out of his budget, I think that would be great.
Well, I don't think the letter said he was willing to fund it. Yeah. He was just in support of us funding it.
We can't vote on his budget or his spending.
Yeah.
I understand, but he sent the letter, so I'm just saying if he has discretionary funding, that would be great.
So you're suggesting we reach out to him and ask him if he wants to fund it?
Well, if Mark wants to reach out and see if he's willing to fund it, that'd be great.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Right now, he's out of town, so.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Begin voting with myself. Aye.
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 No.
No.
I didn't hear what Mike's vote was.
Aye. He voted aye.
So it failed. I mean, it passed. It denied.
Motion passes to not fund the $5,000. But
Hey, Mr. Chairman, can you repeat how the vote went? I didn't hear it.
Yeah, it failed, Michael, 3-2 vote. Is there any interest that maybe a smaller amount could be, because they could probably use anything we could send
Right,
to them.
yes, I'm sure there is.
Is there a smaller amount that maybe the county commissioners feel more comfortable back, even if it's only 1,000 or something?
Well, and here's the problem with that. And like I said, I'm all for these organizations.
Oh, I know,
but
Jeff.
if we give all of them a little bit, then it adds up to a lot.
Yeah, I guess my thing is, as a past law enforcement officer, I've dealt with some of these cases, and that's been 30, 40 years ago, and it still sticks in my mind pretty strong. So that's why I guess I was seeing if there's any way we could maybe look at something. That's just my 2 cents.
I'd say look at it at budget time. That's all I can say. It's not budget. It's not budget.
Yeah. So we'll bring
That's why we do a budget.
So we'll readdress it at budget time.
And of course, and then the alcohol funding for the alcohol.
Yeah, I might qualify for that. All right. We'll move on to presentation and discussion items. I don't have anything particular this week. I'm meeting with the City of Parkville Mayor this afternoon with Mike Smith and Mayor of Lansing and City Councilman on the Lansing Board with Dean Catterdahl about the 152 bridge idea. They reached out and wanted to talk about that some more.
Good.
So we're going to go and take them some information at 1:30 this afternoon.
So on the tolling part of that, with Missouri's current law on tolling and Kansas allowing tolling, how would that work if that would ever come?
It's my understanding that the state of Missouri is working on that actual law to do away with the ban on tolling. So this might be the poster child for that.
Well, I think that's a great idea because user fees, if you don't use it, you shouldn't have to pay for it. If you do,
Yeah, I like that too.
Look at the Kansas Turnpike. I mean, it's getting July 1, no more toll booths. It's all electronic tolling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just making it so simple.
Yeah.
But Missouri has to change their laws.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the catch.
that should be. They should need the money just as bad as anybody for infrastructure.
Especially their roads.
That's all I have. Do you have anything?
No, I don't really have anything this week. Not till next week.
Commissioner Stephen, do you have anything?
Well, considering the connection here, I'm not going to do anything except I'll tell you that the White River is beautiful.
Commissioner Cos, do you have anything for us this
Not
morning? Nope.
nothing.
Commissioner Smith?
I have nothing.
Motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.